Hello, hello. This is Kenya Rahmaan, the author and founder of the Child Support Hustle. How are you all doing this evening? I am doing good, thank you. I am going to hold on and see if anybody joins me. I hope my light acts good this evening because when I was testing out earlier, it was giving me a couple of problems, but see, it just went on up and down. So I don't know what's up with that. Let's see. Let me see if I can turn it. Let's see if that works better. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? So I was going to talk about a totally different topic, but I received an email today that I want to talk about instead. And before I talk about the email, I want to read it to you guys first. And then, because it'll only make sense so you guys know what I'm talking about. So, let me give you a little bit of background. So, there's a father in New York. His name is Richie. And Richie contacted me. This was a few years ago. And we have a mutual friend who is Dr. Carlos Rivera. And he's an advocate. And you probably, if you are in the movement or you're in New York, you probably have heard of Dr. Carlos. Hi, Dr. Carlos, if you're seeing this. Great guy. So he introduced Scotty and I, and we had him at that time. We had a radio show, the Child Support Hustle show, and I wrote an article about Scotty and introduced him to another advocate in the National Parents Organization. So there was a lot of people working to help Scotty out Richie out because he was facing contempt of court charges, and it was just bad all around. You guys know how it is with these debtor prisons and all this kind of stuff. So it was just, the whole thing stunk. Just whatever, the debtor prisons, just the whole thing. So I haven't talked to Scotty in a few years. And so I received this email today, and I'm guessing this is from his ex, who was trying to. This is all allegedly, because I've never spoken to anybody but Richie. So I received this email, and she says, "You really should do your homework when you write an article. But after reviewing your credentials, I understand why you wrote such an irresponsible article about Richard Scotty. He is a deadbeat dad. You didn't do your homework, honey. Shame on you. There are children that need their father's financial support as well as their mother's financial support. You are a sham. You are a joke. I can't wait to share all of your misinformation with everyone that I know. Shame on you. It's people like you that spread propaganda. It's people like you who just shoot from the mouth without any information. Richard Scotty is a criminal. Which I responded, please be sure to share my YouTube channel, because I'm kind of an asshole sometimes. If you send me an email like that, then I'm going to, say something smart. But and I put the article that I wrote about Richie in the description, of course. But I wanted just this email alone made me think about how society allows fathers to be treated just because they are not with the mother. So in this email, she's called him a deadbeat. She's called him a criminal. She's basically says that he needs that a father should financially support his children, but not emotionally. She wants the money. Um, she called me a sham, a joke, I'm irresponsible. Just because I dared to say what was going on in Richie's case, I didn't say anything other than, here's what is going on in his situation, and Turner versus Rogers says this, and you can't do this and that. Debtors' prisons are illegal because of this. The Supreme Court said that. You can read the article. So the article that she read is the same thing that I put out. So because she didn't like what I wrote and just sharing Richie's story, because nobody else is going to share it, obviously, because nobody was talking about, and nobody ever talks about fathers and what they go through, and mothers too. I'm not excluding you moms that pay child support, but in the scheme of things, it's mostly fathers that pay child support, and fathers that this happens to, that don't have a voice, because automatically if a father says something that he pays too much child support, that he doesn't get to see his children, that that he can't afford to pay his rent, that he can't pay his car note, that he can't pay for his basic needs, that he's a deadbeat. And you can't even say, like, if I saw somebody, like what I do, I'm just providing, well, when I did work on or advocate for parents, I didn't do anything. I never, because how could I pass judgment on to the custodial parent, or say, shame on you, or these moms, or this or that. I didn't do that. I passed on information. I shared information. And because they didn't like the information that I was sharing, or because I was advocating for their ex or their children's father, then they felt the need to attack me. But why? Because society has targeted or made it okay to attack these fathers. But then they want to blame these same fathers for not being in their children's lives. You see it over and over and over again. Fatherless children. It leads to people, the kids growing up in poverty, not graduating from high school, becoming criminals, being teenage mothers, like all of this stuff. And I see it all the time. I'm researching this now, and it goes way back when they start this this narrative, fatherless homes. So they create the narrative of the fatherless home, but then they allow mothers to badmouth these fathers, use them for money, not let them raise their children, and bash anybody dare say something positive about these fathers. So then you end up with a cycle. So like I said, I was going to do a whole different video. I had it all typed, I have to type out my notes and all that. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna talk about this, because the fatherless thing, I'm researching, reading, and everything, because I want to get to the root of this, because you see it all the time, and they keep pushing this agenda and talking points, and there's nothing really to back it up. So I'm like, let me go to the root of this, because if they keep talking about it, fatherless homes, and then they complain that children are growing up horrible, the muggers and the dropouts and the everything, that's wrong with society, but then they don't enforce visitation, and they let mothers or let parents that have custody behave like this. So if she said that to me and she doesn't know me, can you just imagine what Richie went through? She called this man a criminal, and I'm telling you, I worked with this man, and I'm pretty sure. Now, I said this was some years ago, but I don't think he had a criminal background. He was an entrepreneur. I know that for a fact. He was a businessman that, because of the market, he, his business failed. So he didn't have money. And she called him a criminal twice. So because you can't pay child support, because you can't pay a debt, all of a sudden somebody gets to call you a criminal. And if she said that to me, because I wrote an article, can you imagine how many people she said that to over the years? He's a deadbeat. He's a criminal. Shame on you, to the people that, support him, or, what if he was sleeping on their couch? Because I know he was actually homeless. So if one of his buddies said, come on, Richie, come sleep on the couch. And this goes on all over the country. All over the country. You can't even help out a father that's down on his luck because child support has taken everything from him. Because of this. It's okay. There's two sides to every story. The custodial parent, she has one side. Everything is her way. They did. If he goes on and gets another family, but he still wants to be a father to his child. But she's pissed off because he does not want to be with her. Then all of a sudden, he ain't shit. Then she goes and tells the child, he doesn't want you. He don't want to take care of you. He hates you. And that child grows up, and all of a sudden he's shooting the school up because he's fatherless, because the mother was allowed to pump that shit in her head, in that baby's head, because she's mad. But then they blame the father. Now, this is something, if they want to keep with that fatherless agenda, then we need to know why they're pushing it, and we need to fight back against that, because it's deeper than just child support. If you look at these, because I've been doing this for several years, so I know the narratives. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I know the situation. I was in this whole thing. That's how I came about this. I know the welfare situation. I know the single mom situation. I'm a single mother. I know about this from a personal point of view, and I've also, like I said, seen it as an advocate. But that fatherless agenda that they push, you got to look like, why do they keep allowing it? If they know all they have to do is grant 50-50 shared parenting and let these parents, these fathers, be in their children's lives. I'm not talking about the abusers. I'm not talking about the child molesters. I'm not talking about the violent parents on either side. Those fathers were good enough to be fathers to their children when those parents were together. So why in the hell does that father have to fight and fight to be a parent to their child? It's like Mr. Reed out here in Lubbock? I'm sorry, I can't remember. Out here in Texas, that was shot and killed trying to see his child. Out here murdered trying to see his child. Then we had, I don't know where this was, because I mean, this stuff gets overwhelming. There was a father doing a custody exchange, killed fatherless child. Why should he have to risk his life? Mr. Reed, this other father, and this goes on. I did a video about, and I named some more fathers dead trying to be a father to their child, but then the government will sit up there and say that that's a problem. Pundits will sit up here and say fatherless child this, and then they say what? Black men, black fathers abandon their children, don't want to be in their children's life. They're not in the home. Being absent from the home, not being with the mother and not living in the home, I have a news flash for the people that don't seem to get it. Just because a parent doesn't live in the home with the child does not make that child fatherless. Stop with that bullshit. It's not true. If y'all pass laws and let these fathers parent their children from another home, y'all will be able to, y'all can stop that. But I'm sure y'all won't get any money if y'all stop that. That shit been going on. They've been talking about that, what I'm talking about right there, since the 60s. That's right. They don't care about us or our kids. And as long as they keep us parents fighting back and forth and allowing emails like this being sent. If she sent me an email like this, she's been harassing the hell out of him, which I know she have. And this isn't the first. There was a guy in Alabama. I did a video about this. They wrote about me in an article because he was beefing with his ex over their daughter, and he was supposed to come on the radio show. We had the Child Support Hustle radio show, and he was a host down there in Alabama. And so at that time, I was selling the Fuck Child Support t-shirts. So I started that slogan. I don't do it anymore. Long story short, I ain't gonna talk about it. But they did an article and they tried to badmouth him by way of him associating with me. But if at the time I was hosting with another person, but if we're going to give him a platform to be able to share his story, because they had him on the most wanted list. They had his face everywhere, most wanted, on a child support warrant. So we can't have him on a radio show or any kind of platform so he can tell his side of the story without them, putting it in the paper and, oh, look at the sorts that he's talking to and who he's what do you call it? You know what I'm talking about, like who he's slumming with or whatever. But what the fathers aren't allowed to say what's going on. Another example, the father that paid his child support in pennies. Oh my, that was all over the world. That was the worst thing ever to ever happen. A friend of his sent me a message and said his side of the story. And I shared it. Oh my God. They didn't like that shit. I said, there's two sides. But if you ever talk about defending these fathers or supporting these fathers, they get pissed. But I'm saying you can't have it both ways. If you're going to complain about, which is, like I said, is bullshit, that's a bullshit complaint. These kids are not fatherless. These kids the mother and father might not be married, but that's different than children being fatherless. So if y'all see that narrative, y'all see that talking point, y'all see that, just look and see if they're talking about married parents or if they're talking about fatherless, meaning no father, absent parent. That's the wordplay. And another thing, the parental alienation. If they really want to stop all this, they need to allow shared parenting as they call it. Presumed. See, I don't usually talk about shared parenting like in the context like I do for child support, but it should be just a presumed assumption. Right. But it should be automatic, 50-50, unless there's some other circumstances. But that's what I want to talk about, because enough is enough. You shouldn't be comfortable with dogging the other parent because you can or because you're pissed off. And if you're doing this to people that you don't know inside that house with those children, and we know it, you're sitting up there dogging that parent over and over again, and psychologically that child grows up hating that parent, and then that's what the results that we see, that we keep hearing about, that they keep talking about, and they've been talking about it forever. They don't want to fix it. They don't want to fix it. So instead of them, skipping over the shit, make them fix it. They asking for our vote. They do it every couple of years, every this, every that. Look locally. For the people asking for your vote locally, and tell them that you want this fixed. This is not that hard. And these parents, when they start coming at you, when you defend these fathers and these mothers paying child support, and they start, because they do it all the time. Oh no, you got to take care of your kid. Nobody said you don't have to take care of your children. Child support and taking care, child support through the government and taking care of your children are two different things. But nobody wants to hear that. Everybody just want to talk shit, because most people just want to argue and get their point across, which usually means nothing, because they don't want to listen to information. They don't want to listen to facts. They don't want to listen to the sources. I'm sorry. They don't want to just listen. Do some research, look and find out that these states are making, Texas, $15 on every dollar spent on child support. They're profiting off of these children where the father is not in the home. So if you want to send me a fan email telling me about my credentials. I never said I had credentials. I just, I found out some information. I decided to share it, try to help people with the information that I had. And that's what I did. So if you want to send me, some mail or something, my information is in the description. If you want to buy my book, The Child Support Hustle, you can get it on my website, thechildsupporthustle.com, or you can buy it on Instagram or Facebook. I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Let me see. I seen Jamie, you've been riding with me the whole time. Thank you so much. If I go there, I forget my train of thought here. So I just try to get this out here, and then I go over here. So thank you, Tim. I think it's Tim. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know. And I think the reason why, and this is for Tony, I think the reason why they're so hesitant to let this whole thing go like they need to is because they feel like they're going to get sued. I think they're trying to. Now, this is my opinion. I think right now, because there are some changes going on how they execute the system, they're calling it the modernization of child support. And so you're seeing more, like in Colorado, where the appeals court found that the trial court erred in charging this father with contempt. So you'll probably start seeing more of that, and more and them not using contempt or charging parents with contempt. So I think they'll start scaling back more and more on how they've been executing the child support system, instead of just coming out and saying that they're going to reform it or stop doing X, Y, and Z, because they're fearful that people will start suing and getting together for a large class action lawsuit. Or I think that they will come out and say, okay, we won't do this, this, and this. However, you can't sue. If this happened to you, you cannot sue us. So I think they're trying to figure out a way how to protect themselves Because I mean, they'll probably give if everybody sued them that had their rights violated from the child support system, it'll probably bankrupt this country. That's my opinion. It would probably bankrupt everything because they got this 24 billion that's supposed to be owed in just government owed arrears that's supposed to recover welfare. So that's just fake debt. That's just paper. It's just fake. So they got 24 billion, almost 24 billion. That was as of 2020. That's just sitting there on the books. So that's probably collecting interest. Well, not probably, it's collecting interest. And then you have the arrears per state that's supposed to be owed to just the parents. So it's just all this money. It's just money, but if it's fake debt over here and some of it's owed to the parents, and then your rights were violated, you were sitting in jail and you come and it just, I can't even imagine if people sued how much money they would be owed. I can't even. But I don't have any credentials, so don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. My credentials is, yeah, it's cash for kids. They figured out a way. They figured out a way, and they're going to hold on to it for dear life. They're going to hold on for, and that's why they allow this bullshit that they have going on, where they criminalize, villainize fathers, but then they will allow the custodial parent to keep that father away from those children just to repeat the cycle. And that's why I think that the child support system, just like we teach arithmetic, just like we teach computer programming, or all that, we need to teach about child support in the schools. We need to let these kids know, or the young adults, not the little, not them. Let's protect the babies. But the since the fatherless kids, teenage pregnancy, but we need to teach them about getting sued, about their rights, about signing that AOP, where the birth certificate, if you sign that birth certificate, that does not mean anything. That does not make you a father. It's a whole different process. That stuff needs to be taught, because these young people don't know. They're getting set up for failure. Hell, shit, grown people don't even know. Okay, well, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all hanging with me tonight. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the student loans. They just forgave a bunch of money in student loans, and I want to talk about that and how that compares to our fight, or our campaign for the government to forgive the government owed child support debt, because they're so, while they are forgiving the student loan debt, are so similar to why they should erase the government owed child support debt. So if they're doing it for them and they signed a contract, they should be doing it for parents who did not sign a contract. So maybe Wednesday. Yeah, they won't even, if we taught the youngins, if we taught the young people, Fred, yeah, they wouldn't even participate. I always said this: if we refuse to participate in the system, that would just destroy it. If nobody, because you don't have to participate in that system unless you receive welfare benefits. And people go back and forth with me. I get it all the time. Like, it's not voluntary. I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. They might strong arm you because they feel like they can, because they can. It's the government, but when you know when you are educated, and know what it is that you're going into when dealing with them, and you know what you're signing and you know what you're not signing or not agreeing to, then you're better prepared when you go in there with those people. Even if you need something from them and they're saying, oh, you got to sign this or that, then you can at least have something in writing. Or, I mean, there's avenues to deal with this stuff. So yeah, if we don't participate with it, we can crash it. Yep. Yep. And the manual sure is. So thank you. I kind of got fumbled up and tumbled up and stumbled up at the end there, because I was just going to come on, say my little email, then talk my stuff about the fatherlessness, because I'm so sick of it. Um, it's just not what it's not what it appears to be. And so many people want to argue about it, and I'm not arguing about the shit. And it says it right there if you just do a Google search. But we're gonna so many fights. There's so much going on. So again, if you want to reach out to me, email cshustle the number one at gmail.com. Excuse me. My website, thechildsupporthustle.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm not really on Facebook. I post on there, but I'm not really on there a lot. Facebook be on some janky stuff. But everywhere else you can email me. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you already clicked the subscribe button. Thanks for liking. If you haven't, please click the like button. I appreciate you. Don't forget to share this video, because we have to start protecting fathers as well, because fathers matter. We know that. And make sure you tune in, have your noties on, so when I go live, you can join me so we can talk about what's going on. I'm gonna be talking about some other stuff so that we are prepared for what they give out, so we can protect ourselves in this arena called life. They be throwing shit at us, and we need to know how to defend ourselves, whether it be with taxes or whatever, because they got a lot of stuff going on. They want our money. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't got a lot of that. So peace, take care, and fight the power.